Hello everyone. In this video we are going to discuss some of the sample questions for your upcoming examinations both from paper 1 and paper 2. So, whom does the poet refer to as the breath of autumn in Shelley's Ode to the West Wind? This is the first question, and we know that he refers to the west wind itself as the breath of autumn. So answer C is correct. Then which of these is not a request the speaker makes to the mighty west wind? Which, now you have to remember, not is the word here. So to make him its musical instrument, to spread his message of revolution, to become him, to wake him up from his summer dream. So now you have to remember that he asks several set of things by the end of the poem to the west wind, and he says that he wishes it to make him its musical instrument, to spread his message of reform and revolution, to even become him. But he does not say to wake him up from his summer dream. So D is the correct option. Shelley was expelled from Oxford University for the publication of a pamphlet called, what was the pamphlet title? So the answer is C, The Necessity of Atheism. What is the figure of speech used in O Wild West Wind? Now the figure of speech used there is apostrophe A. Then apostrophe is a figure of speech in which the speaker or the poet directly refers to an entity which is not real, or which is not really present in the scene, or which cannot respond in reality. Like the west wind cannot respond to the whatever queries the poet raises to it. So that is why this is apostrophe. Then what is symbolized by the leaves dead and pestilence-stricken multitude in Ode to the West Wind? What does it signalize? So the English people, the degenerate human society, the varied vegetation, or the Italian people? The answer is, it talks of the degenerate human society, B. What is the name of the son of King Ulysses in Alfred Tennyson's poem? This comes from there. So the name is Telemachus. He says, this is my son, my own Telemachus. That is the line. The C option. The main theme of Tennyson's Ulysses is the thirst for knowledge and adventure, the thirst for wealth and riches, the thirst for power and might, the thirst for homely comfort. So the only thing that is the main theme here is that he yearns for knowledge, he yearns for adventure. So the A part, the A option is correct, the thirst for knowledge and adventure. He does not want wealth, he does not want power or to rule over his kingdom. He thinks Telemachus can do it better than himself, and he is not even thirsty for remaining at home, because he is there is a line in the poem, I have become known for always roaming with a hungry heart. So that is why this is the correct option. Then what is the one activity that King Ulysses cannot keep away from? Obviously it is traveling, exploring the world. So D. Then what does Ulysses comment regarding his mariners in the poem? What does he say? So his mariners are physically strong, his mariners are old and weak, his mariners are old but heroic, his mariners need to rest in old age. Now he says that mariners, you are now old, the men, you are now old, but you are not weak. That is the message. So his mariners are old and they are not physically strong, but they are heroic. They are very strong in their mental capacities and attitude. So his mariners are old but heroic. C option. Then Tennyson's Ulysses was published in, which was the collection in which it was published? Poems chiefly lyrical, poems, Idylls of the King, and Enoch Garden, and other poems. So the title of the collection in which the poem Ulysses was published is B, Poems 1842. Ulysses is written in, what is the stanza form in which it is written? The poem form, blank verse, rhyme verse, free verse, haiku. It is written in A, blank verse. Dover Beach was published in the collection Empedocles on Etna and Other Poems, The Strayed, Revella and Other Poems, New Poems, Poems in 2 volumes. So it was published in a collection titled New Poems, option C. Which of these does not describe one of the themes of Dover Beach? Does not, that is the main word. So loss of faith, religious uncertainty, consolations of love, loss of identity. So Dover Beach is mainly about the decline in Christianity, the receding of faith, so loss of faith, religious uncertainty is there is doubt all around, and consolations of love. Love can be uplifting in such a time of despair. So the loss of identity is not a theme in that poem. D, loss of identity. From which poem are the following lines taken? And we are here as on a darkling plain, swept with confused alarms of struggle and flight, where ignorant armies clash by night. These are the last lines of B. Dover Beach. Robert Browning is a poet of the which era? Elizabethan era, Victorian age, Caroline age, modern age. So he's not of any other age except Victorian age. B. Victorian age. From which poem the following lines have been taken? I was ever a fighter, so one fight more, the best and the last. These are one of the most popular lines of the poem Prospice by Robert Browning. B. Now, the central concern of Prospice by Robert Browning is, what is the central theme? The art of writing poetry, the creative abilities of a poet, terror of the idea of death, looking forward to union with one's love after death. So it is not about the art of writing poetry, it is not about the abilities of a poet, it is not even about the terror of death, because he faces death bravely in this poem. So it is about looking forward to union with one's love after death. Option D. In the second coming, what shape does the word gyre refer to? What is referred by the shape gyre? So now A. rectangles, B. triangles, C. circles, D. squares. So it refers to circular shape. C. circles. In the second coming, what is implied by the term spiritus mundi? A. soul of God, B. soul of the universe, C. Jesus Christ spirit, D. the devil. So it implies soul of the universe. B. What kind of a mythological figure is shown in the poem The Second Coming by W.B. Yeats? A vampire, a werewolf, a sphinx, a griffin. It shows a sphinx, a beast with a man's head and the shape of a lion. Then, in which of his works does Yeats talk about his philosophy of gyres? So, Adam's Curse, The Wind Among the Reeds, The Wild Swans at Cool, A Vision. Which of these books discusses his philosophy of cyclical gyres that give the idea or the impression of or the concept of the passing away of time and the regeneration of different human ages? So, A Vision is the verb. D. Option D is the correct answer. Then, what does the phrase the second coming refer to in the Bible? A. the second coming of Jesus Christ, the second coming of Satan, B. the second coming of Moses, C. and D. the second coming of Adam. So it refers to the second coming of Jesus Christ. A. When was W.B. Yeats awarded the Nobel Prize in Literature, the prestigious Nobel Prize? A. 1921, B. 1922, C. 1923, D. 1924. He was awarded the Nobel Prize in 1923. C. What Victorian-era regulations did Dickens write against in the opening passages of Oliver Twist? So what were the laws that he wrote against? The Poor Laws, the Catholic Emancipation Act, the Abolition of Slavery, or the Registration Act? Which act or which law he wrote against? So A. the Poor Laws. What is Alison doing at the beginning of Look Back in Anger? Making a phone call, reading, dancing, ironing. So she was ironing at the beginning of the play. Then about how old are Jimmy Porter and Cliff in Look Back in Anger? They are 25 years old. B. What is Jimmy Porter doing at the beginning of Look Back in Anger? A. reading papers, B. listening to music, C. going on a walk, D. dancing. So he was reading papers. Jimmy Porter believes that it is pretty dreary living in what age? A. the Roman age, B. the British age, C. the American age, D. the modern age. So the answer is C. the American age. He is pretty dissatisfied, he is disoriented and enraged at the way American dominance, American capitalism is spread all over the world. And he is dissatisfied with it because he has no work to do, nothing to really aspire for. So he is very upset with that. Who says the following lines in Look Back in Anger? The injustice of it is almost perfect. The wrong people going hungry, the wrong people being loved, the wrong people dying. Again it is B. Jimmy, because he is upset. This is the main theme of the play. He is very upset. He is angry at the way things are in society. He is an angry young man because of all the inequalities in society between people and everything. That upsets him. Then the unknown citizen is A. a sonnet, B. a satire, C. a ballad, D. an elegy. It is a satire on governmental supervision, excessive governmental intervention in the life of its citizens. New Year's Eve ends with a reference to The New Year by Charles Cotton, The New Year by Pearl S. Bruck, The Double Man by W. H. Auden, Paradise Regained by John Milton. So it ends with a reference to the poem The New Year by Charles Cotton. In fact, it charts out the entire poem. What Roman mythical figure is mentioned in the poem at the end of New Year's Eve, referring to the ending of the current year and the beginning of the new? A. Apollo, B. Jupiter, C. Mercury, D. Janus. So answer is D. Janus. What activity do people usually forget, according to Robert Lind in his essay? A. Buying groceries, B. Paying electricity bills, C. Posting letters, D. Ironing the clothes. So he says that people usually forget posting letters. C option is correct. What happens in the story told by Robert Lind to make his point about forgetting as very common? A. A man forgets his wife outside a bar. B. A man forgets his baby outside a bar. C. A woman forgets her baby outside a store. D. A woman forgets her father outside a store. So ये एक स्टोरी बताते हैं अपने ऐसे में, ये बताने के लिए कि forgetting कितना easy और कितना common concept है, भूल जाना. So basically that story contains where a man forgets his baby outside a bar. B is the correct option. When Susan and Elizabeth Jane first arrive in Casterbridge, where do they stay? A. At Michael's estate. B. The Three Mariners Inn. C. The King's Arms Hotel. D. At Darcy's estate. So they stay at B. The Three Mariners Inn. This is a question from The Bear of Casterbridge. What job does Nicola earn by the end of the play Arms and the Man? A. Manager of the Petcoff home, manager of a hotel, manager of a restaurant, a soldier in the army. So he becomes a manager at one of the hotels of Captain Blunt's Chili. B. And when was the Lord of the Flies published? Lord of the Flies was published in A. 1954. Now comes another thematic question. Which of these is Golding's novel Lord of the Flies not about? Which of these is not its theme? Morality and immorality, survival and death, past and the present, and groupthink and individuality. So it is not about past and the present. Basically not about the past. It is only about present and contemporary state of affairs. Rest, it is about morality and immorality. It is about survival and death. It is about groupthink and individuality. Groupthink is basically when several members of a group decide upon how to follow a certain set of ideas, or how that group will be organized, what are the set of orders that will be followed, and the others just have to agree with it. So there is no individuality or scope for individuality there. So that is the conflict there. Then, who is the first boy to come across the naval officer who comes to their rescue? A. Piggy, B. Simon, C. Sam, D. Ralph. Answer D. Ralph at the end of the novel. In Pride and Prejudice, what is the name of Mr. Charles Bingley's estate? Pemberley, Netherfield, Rosings, Brighton. So B. Netherfield is the name of Charles Bingley's estate. Similarly, you can prepare several other questions based on this pattern, and these are just sample questions. You need to prepare questions on your own. It is not necessary that these questions or some of these questions will be asked in the examination, so you have to prepare accordingly. Just read all of your texts and try to memorize whatever details or whatever concepts, whatever themes they are all about, the characters they are about, and then you can answer any question that follows. Thank you.